Right, here we go. I wanted to introduce you some free body diagrams, a brief introduction by me, Mr. Young. So here we go. We're going to start off with the heavenly body of Venus here, just floating through space. Now, free body diagram is we just take that object and draw the forces that are acting on it with an arrow. So that's what I've done here. We have the planet of Venus, and this red arrow pointing towards the sun there, and labeled with the force of gravity. So we have the one force. Now, maybe we don't always want to draw the actual object, so we can just represent it by a little box here, and then put an arrow. So the box is going to represent my heavenly body of Venus, and there's my force of gravity. I take my pencil here. F. Gee, that's not very good. We want a bigger pen, right? Yeah. I'm not so happy with that either, but anyway. So we got the planet Venus. This little box now represents this big planet, and there's my force pointing in one direction, force of gravity. Now, with one force unbalanced, we would expect that it's falling towards the sun. That's bad news. It's going to crash and burn, be obliterated, but actually there's something else going on here. It's actually orbiting, so it's got some velocity. We'll talk about that another day. Right now we're going to get into our next situation here. All right, here we go with another situation. Relax, don't worry. It's just a picture of a box of ants sitting on a table. Nothing too normal about that, but we are going to talk about normal. Here we have the box represented here, sitting on a table, and this time I'm going to point an arrow pointing down. We're going to call that the weight force. The same as before, the force of gravity, but in this case, we're on the planet Earth. We're going to call this FW, or the weight. Now the table is kind of pushing back on it, pushing it up, and we're going to call that normal force. Now these arrows should be balanced. That should be the same magnitude or distance as this one. Maybe I made it a little bit off, but they're supposed to be about the same. So in this case, it's just sitting there. If they're balanced, then the net force is zero and it doesn't move. Well, to further talk about what we mean by normal forces always point perpendicular to the surface that they're on. So I drew this box again in case we wanted to tip the box of ants. In this case, the force of gravity, the force of weight, it's always going to point down, but the normal force, again, always perpendicular to the surface, so it points this way. Now these forces aren't really balanced. We're going to talk about this later, another day, but we have a piece that goes up and a piece that goes this way, or however we want to draw this. This box, we'd expect it to slide down the table here. We'll worry about that another day. We just want to get the idea of, here's a free body diagram, a box of ants, weight force down, normal force up, and what do we mean by normal? Okay, we're adding a new one here. Here we have this young lady pushing this drum down the road here, and we're going to represent the situation. We're going to look and consider just the drum. That's my box over here, and that drum, again, has the weight force pointing down. The normal force is pointing up, and these should be balanced. Now, she's giving an applied force. Imagine she's pushing it to the left there. Now, they're on some magical frictionless tires, so this is the only force that's on this to the left, is the applied force, and that's it. So we'll talk more about forces later, and Newton's law, F is equal to ma. That means it's going to be accelerating. So she's going to continue with this applied force. She's going to have to really start running to keep up that force. Okay, here's our last situation for our introductory to free body diagrams. Here we have this gentleman here. He's going to move this crate to the left. He's going to try to anyway. So the crate here, we have it as our free body diagram, represented again by this box or a point object. We've got the force of gravity, or the weight force, pointing down, balanced by the normal force pushing up, so the box doesn't sink or float or anything like that. Then he's pushing it to the left, so we've got the applied force pointing to the left, but it's a table here with some friction between the surface and the box. We're going to talk more about friction another day as well, but the friction force in this case is balancing his applied force. So as much as he tries to push that with his one of his little fingers there, the friction force is resisting and stopping it from moving. So he's pushing, friction's pushing back. So this object is going to be balanced at rest. All of these forces in the vertical direction and horizontal direction are balanced. That's it for our introduction to free body diagrams. I hope you enjoyed that and the special images we've created here for you. Please take some time, if you're interested in friction, to visit our site, the Young Education site, and check out our friction mini course. Have a great day and see you again another time.